Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. Today I just wanted to share with you where in my city I go to buy the materials that I need for making notebooks. I'm referring specifically to the notebooks that I make by hand and make available for sale through my Facebook page, which I will link in the description box. I also have a few videos about these notebooks, and all of them I will also link down below. Now, I purchased these items on different days, as you will see on some of the footages that were taken from my dash cam, but I was able to film them, so now I am putting together this video to show you where I actually go in my city to buy the things that I need to make the notebooks. Now, on this particular day, it is very rainy, and this is the city proper, which we call Centro. And I'm pulling over by the side of the street. It is a no parking zone as marked by the bold yellow paint. This is a tow-away zone which is allowed only for loading and unloading of passengers. But there is a 5-minute window for staying here without violating anything, even if there is no one inside the vehicle. As long as you don't stay beyond 5 minutes, it's not considered a violation. That's what one traffic enforcer told me before when I asked when I needed to park here, and I wasn't sure and he was there, so I asked, "Can I park here?" And he said, "As long as you stay less than 5 minutes, it's not a violation." So that is why I am parking as close as I can to the actual storefront so I can be very, very quick. And this store is called Ever. This store has been in here since 1952 in this exact same location from as far as I can remember. And it is a store for sporting goods and fishing supplies. Now, I don't have permission to film inside the store, so I didn't, but this store is where I always buy the thread that I use for binding all of the notebooks, regardless of the kind of paper. This is it. Here I am back in the car. This is nylon twine and the size is 210/4. This is not the thinnest thread from this brand, but this is very thin but also very, very strong. This is traditionally used by fishermen to mend their nets, so it's very, very durable, and it doesn't break and it does not fray. Only the ends fray, the part where I cut it with a pair of scissors, but with the kind of stitching that I use for the notebooks that I make, there are no loose ends. Literally no loose ends because everything is glued. Not a single millimeter of loose thread is exposed. The only thread that you can see is in the middle of the signatures. That's the stitching. I bought two of these and it cost 62 Philippine pesos each. And that's kind of funny because in 2020, when I started my notebook business, this only cost 50 pesos each. Another store that I go to is this store. This is called Angena. This is where I buy the glue sticks that I use for gluing the end papers to the text block and to the covers. This is the glue that I use. It is very effective and it does not discolor. Angena is also where I buy the cardstock material for the covers of the notebooks. They have a bunch here and some of them come in packs of 100, but at the moment these here are in packs of 10 only. It is not very cost effective to buy these. The only ones that they have in packs of 100 at the moment I am filming is this one, and I used to use this before, but now I don't like it anymore because the texture it doesn't feel very posh to me. So I decided to just use this super smooth one right here. This is 200 GSM. It comes in packs of 10 only, but I really prefer to use smooth cardstock for the covers. It is more expensive for me, and I do not adjust the price of my notebooks just to accommodate adjustments that I make on the materials that I use, and that's okay. I really just want to use the better items for the notebooks. And I always use 3 layers of this for both the front and back covers of the notebooks. I just glue them together first using the glue stick. Another store that I buy stuff in is inside Robinson's Mall. This is National Bookstore. You have seen the store a few times before in some of my previous vlogs, I'm sure. This is where I buy the PVC glue. This is Elmer's glue, a standard PVC glue which is very strong and reliable when it's used on paper and fabric. This has been tried and tested by crafters everywhere for a very long time, and I use this glue for the spine of the notebooks because not only is there paper in there, there's also the stitching of the nylon twine and the fabric cover on the spine. So this is the most appropriate and most reliable glue for it. And Elmer's glue is really available in almost every school and office supply store, but I buy it here because I have a loyalty card for this store, and every purchase gives me points that I can use as a rebate later on. Another store that I go to is over here. It's at the side of a large building. The store that I'm going to is called VC Trading, and it's a fabric store. On this particular day, they were already out of stock of the fabric that I used to use, so I looked around for other alternatives that they have. The fabric should be gray. It should not be very dark gray, just a medium gray will do. And the gray fabric spine cover is part of the look of the notebook. I want the notebooks to have that distinctive, utilitarian, no color look. So gray is the perfect color for the fabric to cover the spine because the covers are white. Using a black fabric would make it too severe, too contrasting. Gray is just okay. Also, the fabric has to be soft enough to conform to the stitching on the spine so that the 6 ridges on the spine of the notebook will look nice and defined. But the fabric should also be not too soft that it will be so difficult to handle when there's wet glue on it because wet fabric behaves so differently from dry fabric. In the end, I opted for this fabric called Dobie. It costs 160 pesos per yard, and I bought 1.5 yards. And it even has this very subtle design on the weave, and I like it. And that's where I buy stuff. Thread, 2 kinds of glue, cardstock for the covers, and fabric for the spine. These are the supplies that I buy regularly. Now, as a kind of bonus material, let me just show you quickly where I mail the notebooks. If there is just one notebook, I send it via JRS because it's just 156 pesos for one notebook. JRS is a private courier that can get a parcel to Metro Manila on the next day. It takes a little longer for the other provinces, but not as long as the post office. I never use the post office. The other private courier that I use is LBC for customers that bought 2 notebooks or more because heavier items are cheaper in LBC. Sending 1 notebook in LBC costs 200. In JRS, that costs only 156. But when sending 2 notebooks in JRS, it costs 220. But in LBC, sending 2 notebooks only costs 200. And by the way, I always declare the value of the notebooks to the courier when I ship them out for insurance purposes. And those are really all the business establishments that I go to in my city for supplies and mailing that is directly related to making the notebooks. The suppliers for the paper that I use in the text blocks or the inside pages of the notebooks will be linked in the description box. Thanks for watching. Bye.